Hello and welcome to my weekly Wednesday night Stampin', but it's Thursday. We've been having a bathroom refit that hubby's doing, and last night we were desperate to get the shower in, so I had to help. So we're now on Thursday. So thank you to everyone who has come back tonight that would have been here last night. Hello to Bev. Lots of people just join in. So tonight, let's have a little look at what we've got then. Tonight we are going to make this little card. So this little card was inspired by the lovely Martin Stone of Martin's Mayhem. He's one of our artisan design members at Stampin' Up. Hi Mum. And he made a similar card to this quite a while ago, and I've wanted to try it for ages, but I've been waiting for a nice big sentiment to come out. So I am using the Happiest of Birthdays sentiment, like this, which is very nice size. And I'm just using some strips of card. Denise, you've got your head stuck into the fabulous Christmas catalogue. Oh, I hope you like it. I hope you had a nice lunch out today as well. So all I've done for this card is I've cut some strips of cardstock. So my colours that I've gone with for this one, we've got Smoky Slate, Pretty Peacock and Pool Party. And the flowers come from the Birds and Branches, which is just here. Okay. So this card probably looks more complicated to put together than it actually is. So I'll talk you through what we're going to do. So to start, we need a white card base. I'll just pop that up there. So the white card base, so although this one opens this way, we're going to do this as a 10th fold. So just a different style of card. So I've got half a piece of A4 here that I'm just going to cut down. It's 10.5 centimetres wide. Hi Anne, thanks for joining me. Hope you're having a good week. And then we're going to score it at 14.9 centimetres, which is our halfway point. So we have our little card base that looks like this. I'm just going to move my camera up a little bit, that's better. So we don't need our trimmer for the moment because I've already pre-cut some of these pieces. So I've cut strips of cardstock. Now these are 1.5 centimetres wide. So skews are a bit fluffy because I've just had to change my blade. So we've got various different lengths. I think I've gone for 13, 12 and 11 centimetres wide. And all we're going to do is we're just going to layer them onto our card base in a bit of a repeating pattern. Okay. And this is all by eye. I'm not measuring any of this once I've cut them out. All I'm doing to put them on is I just want to see how they sit on here. And then we want another one. I'm going to move that one to there because the tallest point of our sentiment is in the middle. So then, and you'll notice they are all straight at the moment as opposed to slanted. So we're going to do that bit afterwards. So once we're happy with roughly where these are going to be, we can start to stick them down. So to stick these down, I'm just going to put a little bit of tombow in the centre. Okay. Because in order to angle these tops and bottoms, we don't want them to be stuck down completely. Okay. Let's just layer these pieces, and you want to make sure that they butt up against each other so you've got no gap between, otherwise your sentiment won't stamp very easily. Okay. And then just keep going until all of your pieces are stuck on. So we have all our pieces now stuck down, and all of these ends are all loose, which is what we want. Okay, now we can bring in our sentiment, and we're going to heat emboss this. So to start with, we just want to get rid of any static that might be on those pieces of card. So I'm just running across my embossing buddy to get rid of all that static. You could use a tumble dryer sheet if you don't have an embossing buddy. Works just as well. And obviously tumble dryer sheets smell lovely. So we're just inking up our stamp. I'm using a Versamark, which is like a sticky residue. And then we can stamp this. So just try and get it as straight as possible. And in the centre. Okay, so just push down nice and firmly. Because it's a large stamp, you want to make sure that you push down nice and firmly, but without moving the stamp. Okay. So then I'll lift that up to the camera. You can actually see this quite well. So it leaves a bit of a sticky residue. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tip our embossing powder onto it. Now, all I've done is I have decanted our embossing powder into a larger container. Tap off any excess. Okay, and then when you're happy with what you've got, so you can see that, still seeing that, you can just see the powder on that now. Now we're just going to heat that with our heat tool. So you'll see this start to turn. It will get brighter and it will go glossy. So you know when it's set. So that's just starting to go now. And it will take a minute because it's quite a large sentiment. Turn that so I don't burn my fingers. Nearly there now. So that looks good to me. Turn that off. There we have it. So there you can see it now looks nice and bright, and it is a little bit glossy. So now what we're going to do is we're going to trim off these ends. So all I'm going to do is, I'm using my paper snips. I'm just going to do these. So each piece we're going to do in the same direction. Just going to do this until you're happy with what you've got. Oh, that's meeting in the middle, so we'll just chop that one down a little bit shorter. This is a great card to use up with scraps of card that you've got lying about that we all hoard. Okay. So there we have the start of our background layer. Now, what I have done is I have gone around the edge of mine just with a little line. So to do that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my card out flat, and then I'm using a journaling pen. These have been discontinued now, but you can use a Stampin' Right marker, which I'm not using because I'm waiting for a new one to come, as mine has run out. So the line doesn't have to be perfect. It's a handmade card, so it's nice to show that it's been done by you. Okay, so there we have our little line around the edge, and now we can add our flowers. So the flowers come from the Birds and Branches stamp set, so I'm using this image here, and I want to stamp that in all three of our colours. So here we have our colours. So we'll start with Pretty Peacock. I'm going to stamp this onto just a scrap of white. Okay. And bear with me, I'm just going to grab my stamp cleaner. So this is a stamp cleaner. The idea is that you wet one side, you leave the other side dry, and just clean your stamp like so. So it's super handy. It's probably one of the first things I ever bought, almost 7 years ago, and I use it all the time. It is the best way to clean your stamps because the stamping mist will condition them, and also it won't leave any fibres on your stamps which may damage them or just give you a distorted image when you stamp. Okay. So what we can do now is we can quickly cut these out. Just trimming around the edges, making sure to leave a little white border. I find it just looks a little bit more finished with that border. One, two. So these colours, Smoky Slate comes from our Neutrals collection. Pool Party comes in our Subtles collection, and Pretty Peacock is part of our In Colours that were launched last year, so we've still got another year of these. So all the In Colours are designed to really fit in with our colour collections, and I think these colours are a great example of that. Okay, so just following around my flowers like so. Nearly there. Okay, so there we have our 3 flowers, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrange these onto our card so that they don't go on any of the colours that they're stamped in. Okay, so for these I'm just going to add a little dot of tombow to the centre of each flower. I've kind of curved them a little bit with my fingers. All I've done is I've just sort of squeezed the petals up slightly. That's it. It's just adding a little bit of detail, not too much, because we want the detail to be on the sentiment. And then to the centre of those flowers I've added some pearls. So these are basic pearl jewels. These are in our main catalogue, and these are really handy. You can colour them, so they come white, and you can colour them with your Stampin' blends. Because Stampin' blends are alcohol based, they stain things like this really nicely, but we're keeping them nice and plain tonight. So there we have our card front done. Hi Gina, thanks for joining us. Oh, I think I've already cut this. No, I haven't. It's here. So for our inside of our card, we want a piece of card that is just 1/2 centimetre smaller than our card front. So we're cutting it so it's 14.4 centimetres by 10. So I think that's already cut at 10. It is pretty much. And then to keep the design going throughout this card, I'm going to add another hand-drawn line just around the edge. Okay. Like so. And then I have a sentiment here that comes from the Pattern Play stamp set. It says, fill the day with all your guilty pleasures. I think that's a really lovely sentiment, so I'm going to stamp that inside before we stick everything down. Fill the day with all your guilty pleasures. So that's just going in the centre, like so. That ink colour is so rich. I think it's lovely. There we have it. Fill the day with all your guilty pleasures. And then we can now stick this in. And then last but not least, we can stamp a few flowers. So we'll just do 3 again. So we've got 1, which will pop about there. Give it a quick clean. Always test it on your grid paper to make sure there isn't any excess ink left over. And then this one we will pop. I might actually put them all over here. 2. And then lastly we have our pretty peacock colour. Like so. So there we have tonight our finished card. So we have some strips of cardstock that have been stuck down, butted up against each other. We've then heat embossed our sentiment, so that looks lovely on there. And then we've got these lovely little flowers, bit of a hand-drawn line, and then to finish we have a sentiment inside with some more flowers. Okay, so that was my original design. This was the one we've put together tonight. So I hope you enjoyed the card design I put together for you. If you have any questions, drop me an email or a message. Happily talk you through anything. All the information will be on my blog for you tomorrow. I hope you have a lovely evening. I'm off now to finish my schoolwork for the rest of this year and have a bit of a summer break, which is lovely. So I'll be back live again here on Sunday evening at 8:30. So please feel free to join me, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the week and weekend. Thanks everyone. Take care. Bye.